Greetings, brothers and sisters. So I got a bunch of things to get to. This I got an Island Boy update. Somebody sent me something kind of funny about the Island Boys. Um, there's stuff to do with Machine Gun Kelly's weird engagement with Megan Fox. Hunter Biden's ex is writing a tell-all, like a whole bunch of stuff here. I can't remember it all. But this has bugged me for a couple of days. I wanted to return to this. I got into, I got stuck in Bob Saget land for a couple of days. But this was from Alec Baldwin's Splenda, the second Splenda Instagram post. And he starts talking here about his cell phone.
The Splenda packet.
So this is the Splenda packet, right? Remember, some girl saw him in the diner and showed all her support and love for him as a celebrity who's undergoing some tough times, and she wrote it all in a Splenda packet. I thought the Splenda like caused cancer and they got rid of it. I didn't even know they still made Splenda. Some artificial sweetener. I mean, nothing says Alec Baldwin like some artificial sweetener. The girl wrote she hearts him right here. Happy New Year. I mean, it's loaded with support. Little picture there, like an emoji.
Does this mean 2022 is going to be a good year?
No, come on, Alec. It doesn't. Like, we've been through this already. Not for you, bro.
Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway, that is nothing short of a miracle. I'm going to find out his neighbor's name and I'm going to send her a gift. I mean, can you believe something as silly as this has that much value? Putting it in pockets now.
He's putting it in pockets. It's, something that's got to go in pockets. So here's the big piece right here. This is what I want to talk about.
I'll never lose it again. But anyway, oh my God. Oh my God. That's amazing. That's a miracle.
It's a miracle. It's a splendid miracle.
One other quick note. Any suggestion that I am not complying with requests or orders or demands or search warrants about my phone, that's bullshit. That's a lie.
Well, it isn't, right? It isn't a lie because you haven't given them your phone. They've requested your phone, right? New Mexico, the Santa Fe Police Department has requested your cell phone and you still have it and haven't given it to them. So you haven't complied, right? Like he's coming on here to try to defend his position.
This is a process where one state makes the request of another state. Someone from another state can't come to you and say, give me your phone, give me this, give me that. They can't do that.
Well, they can ask you for it and you could give it to them if you were cooperating. So there's a reason you don't want them to have your phone. There's something that's happened on your phone or whatever. There's stuff on your phone that you don't want them to see. And I can understand that, right? Like I can understand, who knows what's on his phone. And so nobody wants to give their phone over. Like it's not something you want to do. And if a police department requests your phone because of a criminal investigation, which may involve you going to jail, yeah, if your lawyers just say, probably, let's not give him the phone. Let's wait as long as possible. And as a celebrity, if there's embarrassing stuff on the phone, and the way information is now leaked, because police don't give a crap about leaking information, right? I mean, we don't know about Santa Fe Police Department, but usually when there's embarrassing things on cell phones, they get leaked, right? And, the leakers don't get punished. And so there's no real privacy anymore for these types of things. So I understand all that. Like I don't think he should give him the cell phone because based in his temper and his narcissism and his, shady character, I'm sure there are things on the cell phone that'll just make his life worse, right? They're not going to, put the things out on the cell phone that would make him look good, right? So, turning over his cell phone, and especially if there's something that's going to be more incriminating against him, I know why he's not turning it over. But what he's trying to say here is it's out of his hands. Like, he could give them the cell phone anytime he wants. Like he's resisting it, right? And that's not what he's portraying here. He's trying to say, hey, it's complicated. Like, I got to work through the process. Eventually, New Mexico has to come to New York, and New York has to make me give the cell phone, and I got lawyers and whatever. But, when they finally make me give it, I'll give it, right? And yeah, but that's not cooperating, right? That makes you look more shady. Why don't you want to give him your cell phone, Alec? Is there something on your cell phone you don't want people to see or hear?
That they've got to go through the state you live in. That is a process that takes time.
Well, you could bypass that by just giving them your freaking cell phone when they ask for it. Don't make it sound like you're cooperating, because you're not, right?
To specify what exactly they want. You can't just go through your phone and take, your.
Yeah, they can if you give it to them, if you have nothing to hide, right? That's, I mean, cell phones are, for most people, they don't want, to hand things over like that to the police. Like I said, I understand why he doesn't want to do it, but don't come on Instagram and make it sound like you're some stellar citizen, right? You're shady as F.
Your photos or your love letters to your wife or what have you. I really don't know, but but of course we are 1,000% going to comply with all that.
When you're forced to. You're 100,000% when you have no other choice but to turn it over. Yeah, well, okay. Anybody would be that, like, right? When they come to my door with, police, and they come in and they grab my cell phone and take it from me, right? Yeah, I'll comply. It's like, yeah, when they come to arrest me, yeah, I'll comply, right? Up until that moment, they're not getting my M&F and cell phone.
Perfectly fine with that. And but the as I always say, consider the source. The people that tell you that.
Yeah, consider the source. Yeah, we've heard that before. You are not a valid source. Like, he still thinks he has credibility. I mean, he has some fans left on Instagram and whatever. But, other than that, like, he's like shady as F. Like, people don't really like him. He's narcissistic. He's fallen from Hollywood grace. So, Alec is not a compelling figure. And I said, well, as long as I'm looking at Alec's Instagram page, I searched Alec Baldwin and his Instagram page came up. And right underneath it was hilarious. And hilaria. It's hilaria. And I said, all right, I'll take a look at what's going on in Hilaria land. And she's trying to help Alec here by having a sing-along with him and 3 of his kids.
If you don't take her out tonight, she's gonna change her mind. Change her mind.
I guess he's singing with 3 of his little boys about, going out with some girl with some adult music here, right? Some pop music. He's going to take her out tonight. Look, they got a big giant crane in the background. I mean, they got this all staged to make Alec look like he's Father of the Year having a sing-along with his kids.
I will take her out tonight and I will treat her kind.
He's going to treat her kind, right? He's not going to accidentally shoot her. Just like you treated Helena Hutchinson kind. Hutchins. So I'm in the editing process, and I decided to look the song up just because, I don't know. It's my job. I don't know. And it's a knockoff. It's a cover of a Beatles song entitled "You're Gonna Lose That Girl." It's from the movie Help, the movie and the album Help, right? Is this Alec sending some Freemasonic message out there that he needs help, or what is this, right? Plus, you're going to lose that girl. Does he mean Hilaria, or does he mean Helena Hutchins? It's just, he doesn't get the idea of stop talking, right? Disappear. He just keeps on appealing. I guess they're trying to appeal to dummies. I mean, when you look at what the news media is doing and politicians are doing for the most part, everybody is appealing to dummies, right? They're not looking to win over smart people. They've lost the smart people. They're just trying to secure the dummy support, right? And Alec Baldwin is like just not getting it done here. It's a memory for the ages.
Boys, are you buzzing?
So that's the Beatles there. He's watching the movie Help, these crappy Beatles movies, with his kids on an iPad laying on the floor and sing along. I mean, it must be a bad audio. It's just so sad.
No, thanks, got the car. No.
It's just so funny, right? You just disappear. Like, how hard is it to understand? You just try to ride this thing out. I mean, you don't do it on social media. You don't, document everything on social media and try to make your case to the American people. My wife and I just watched the short mini series on HBO called Landscapers, and I'm not recommending it. It's kind of slow and a little I don't know, maybe pretentious, and it's okay. I mean, HBO makes quality, at least in terms of production values, but it was interesting in a sense. It was a true story about this elderly English couple who murdered the wife's parents, and went to France, and then ran out of money. And the husband sort of confessed to his stepmother, who told the police, and they were ordered back to England. And the majority of the movie is them being interrogated. It's a 3 parts, 4 hours of content, 45 minutes or whatever it is, right, per episode, 3.5 hours of content. And the majority of it is the police working them and getting them to produce some sort of evidence against themselves, right? And so the woman's been sexually abused. That's, part of the story. And I mean, you can kind of tell that right away. She kind of reminds me a little bit of my ex, but, not as bad. And she's fragile, and she says she's broken at the end. And, it's kind of hard to get through. But she has a lawyer, and the lawyer's like, you just say no comment. And they go through days of interrogation. The husband doesn't get a lawyer, and he just starts talking, and they start incriminating themselves. They had an original story, which would have given them maximum 5 years in jail. I mean, if they had stuck to their original story. And, if they didn't talk at all, there would probably be almost no evidence against them, right? I mean, some evidence, and it would have gone whatever way, the jury and and they have those weird wigs they wear over there, right? The lawyers still wear wigs. It's just bizarre. We saw another movie. It was on our trip to India. We saw a movie about a woman who was a whistleblower, and it was Keira Knightley. I don't know the name of the movie. Don't bother to tell me. Whatever, you can look it up yourself. Easy to Google it. And she was a whistleblower during when Bush was trying to pressure England, America was trying to pressure England into going to war, and all this fake documents that this woman was seeing, right? And she exposed it, and there was a whole process there. Interesting movie, another true story. And so the interrogation process happens, and they just keep on saying things, giving little hints and things, and giving enough information, and they're using the testimony because they're separated, and sort of going back and forth and using the testimony against the other person, right, the husband and wife, and getting them to doubt the other, all these things. And so it just goes to show you that, I mean, the police don't care about justice. They want to get maximum sentence. They're not into, oftentimes they'll force something or even manipulate something, as will the DA and as will the defense attorneys who just want to get their clients off, right? They don't care whether they're guilty or not. And so the whole system is warped because no one's really trying to get justice. They're not looking to be fair. The police are looking for anything that's incriminating. They're not looking to prove you innocent, right? Everything you say can and will be used against you. I mean, think about what that says. Anything you say can and will be used against you. So they're telling you, don't talk, but people talk, right? They just do because they think talking is going to convince people. But while they're trying to convince other people of their innocence, they're going to say things that are incriminating. And they could be innocent, and they'll end up incriminating themselves just by opening their mouths and blabbing or making things worse, right? And, the cops and the district attorney want to go for maximum punishment. And so, it's just not in your best interest. And like I said, I watched this funny lawyer, that was talking about Alec Baldwin's interview, and he's just opposing himself, right? It's the stuff opposing attorneys, whether civil or criminal, would be asking the clients, certainly in a civil case, and he's just giving information. He's just incriminating himself, and you just don't talk. And all this stuff they're doing to try to prove they're innocent and be likable, they've lost that battle. Most people are never going to like Alec Baldwin again. Like, he's lost his brand. Hilaria, the same thing. You just disappear, right? It's not that important what other people think of you. And when other people think bad things about you, it happens to me all the time. People form a negative opinion of me. I'm like, leave. Then why are you watching my videos? You don't like me? Good. Then go, Like, I'm not going to try to convince you. I'm not defending myself or whatever it is, right? I mean, it happened to me in the Heartfulness organization when I realized, the narrative went against me totally unfairly, at least on, this life. I mean, go to past lives, it's something different. There's some spiritual reason, sure. But in terms of, cause and effect in this life, no, it's not fair at all. But why am I going to bother trying to convince people? I mean, the more you do that, the more guilty you look. Why? You just accept people aren't going to like you. If you're out in the public, you accept some people aren't going to like you, and after a while, you're like, hey, it's like it's better. Like, it's like less people that are going to bug you. Less people who want anything to do with you. There's a silver lining here. I mean, him and his wife are trying to paint some illusionary brand, as everyone else does on social media. People are trying to pretend that there's something they're not, and happier than they are, all these things. I've covered this before. And then when it comes crashing down, you're like, all right, yeah, this is the way it really is. We suck, right? Like, we suck just as much as everybody else, and in their case, more, and you accept it. You're like, all right, everybody knows it's not the end of the world, right? And then you have your money, and you can go do whatever you want. You still have all these resources. Enjoy what you have while there's still worth something, while there's still a system that, accepts the currency that is, all the currency out there that's really has no value, right? You have a limited time offer to enjoy your wealth. You might as well enjoy it and stop convincing people of something that, deep down, isn't true anyway, that you're not a good person. Trying to convince other people that you're some great person when everyone can see how narcissistic and selfish and mean-spirited you are, then, I mean, just accept that they can see it. They see through your brand and your mask, and you can't put it back on, right? You can't redo that. Like, it's over for you. I mean, I think they have lawyers. They have lawyers and publicists, and they're obviously not listening to them. Not to be outdone, Hilaria and her daughter put on a dancing display. This is from, I guess, a couple weeks earlier. Hilaria isn't, the best dancer in the world, but she tries. Like, she's got her Spanish dancing skills that she learned in Boston. Doing a little spin there, doing a little thing here. When the ball falls out, you spin. They've learned that from Brittany. When you run out of moves, you just spin in circles. Anyway, so that's what's going on in Baldwin land. So one of my viewers sent me this. This is a young island boy with a polo shirt, and I don't know what he's got going on there. There's a polo rider on his shirt, and this must be from, I don't know, 5-10 years ago.
I apologize.
What you sorry for?
I'm sorry for robbing you and taking your book bag.
Damn right.
I'm sorry for robbing you and taking your book bag. Every aspiring thug has to start somewhere. He's got no grill and no hairdo. He's got this weird shirt. And that's what he's rocking, a couple of earrings, right? He's, trying to bling out even then. So this is how the Island Boys got started, by robbing book bags. So this is really weird, right? This is the Prime Minister of Australia.
Hello, my name is Mark McGowan.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, I found a better one. That was on Instagram. I found one on YouTube, which will be easier to see. But this guy, Mark McGowan, did something incredibly offensive and stupid.
This is an important message to keep Aboriginal people safe.
And the message is proper important one to keep everybody safe one.
So she is translating using Aboriginal English. Like they have these Aboriginal people there, and I don't know very much about it. There was a pop song when I was in my college years called like Beds Are Burning or something. It was about the treatment of the Aboriginal people. It was some big white guy from like some big bald white guy. And I think I looked into it then. I mean, this is pre the internet. And then, but as I understand it, the Aboriginal people have been treated very poorly. And they have a different way of talking, but it's still English, right? And so he's brought in a woman to, translate English to English, right? And, like this is like a bad Saturday Night Live sketch, right?
You can die from the corona or get really sick.
You can pass away from this corona, or you can get really sick one.
It's time to get the corona needle to keep people and country strong.
Again, it's time to get them this needle, a corona, to keep them but all the people and country proper strong one.
They're just so clueless, right? These politicians and celebrities, I mean, yeah, it's the year of the dummy, but it's just, I mean, I don't like what's going on in Australia, right? Like this guy's such an arrogant, I mean, looks so freaking arrogant and just, like just totally clueless in his own, wallowing in his own narcissism. And he's angry too, right? Like, he's an angry person, like some, hard ass.
The corona needle will protect kids, old people, men and women.
What is this corona needle that you speak of?
Well, the corona needle, gotta keep them a safe one for all the kids and for all the men and women.
Many people around the world have already had the needle.
Big mob people all around the world been already getting but their needle.
It's just so bizarre. Like, what are you doing here, bro? Have you no decency? Like, what is going on? Like, the Island Boys are like more with it than this guy. You should take some social clues from the Island Boys.
It is free and it's safe.
Dijan, that needle black corona is free one.
If you're worried, talk to your clinic or medical centre or go to Roll Up for WA on the internet.
If you are worrying about, talk like yours one clinic or go to a hospital place or go to get himself roll up on the internet.
What is going on? Like, I'll let him finish up here.
So get your needle now and stay strong. Thank you.
So you will get him that needle and stay proper strong one. And thank you.
Wow. Like, what is going on in Australia? Whenever I hear anything about Australia, it's like way worse there. It's like some sort of, they're way ahead in all these, I don't know, levels of, I don't want to call it oppression, but just, bizarre stuff going on down under. Then there's this from New York Post. Billionaire supermarket CEO warns of meat, egg shortages as Omicron disrupts supply chain. There are the empty shelves. I guess there's a video here of it.
CEO of the Gristedes supermarket.
He doesn't look like a ghoul at all, right? Like
chain. John, this is real. This is happening this week. We could not find meat or eggs in multiple stores. We finally found them in one store, but is this going to be the norm for the next couple of months?
Well, there's a danger of it as Omicron grows, and it's.
He's not from New York. Anyways, this has come into a supermarket near you. I mean, there's going to be shortages. Your lifestyle is out of stock. That's going to be more prevalent in 2020, and we'll see how the dummies react to that, right? Probably not well. So let's get into the Hunter Biden stuff here. Let's start off here with JoJo. Biden's tough talk hints at re-election effort. See what he says to say here.
We're here today to stand against the forces in America that value power over principle, forces that attempted a coup.
Just ridiculous, right? He's such a bad speaker. He's getting more and more clueless. He's given less appearances than any president, like he's just being hidden away.
Against the legally expressed will of the American people by sowing doubt, inventing charges of fraud, and seeking to steal the 2020 election from the people. They want chaos to reign.
They want chaos to reign. Speaking of chaos, let's go to Hunter, your son Hunter. So this is the New York Post front page. Crushing Hunter Biden ex to detail cheating, drug abuse that destroyed their marriage. In memoir, he cheated on her with her, and she is his dead brother's ex, his widow. And, that was all bizarre, right? I mean, just weird stuff there. And so she is telling it all, but, media's not going to cover it. Right-wing people will read it, and they'll be, on Tucker Carlson and, the New York Post. But this guy's a complete disaster and funny. It's funny that the president has a crackhead son. Like if Trump had a crackhead son, that would be funny, right? Presidents having crackhead sons is just funny. No one can say it's not, right? And so them not covering this and his laptop stuff is funny, and the fact that he had these jobs while he was smoking crack, and just, his being with his brother's widow, and his brother's widow taking his gun away from him because she thought he was going to hurt himself. I mean, just all of it, right? This guy's an absolute mess, and he's the president's son, and it's funny, and they're not covering it. Comedians aren't covering it, right? And then I saw this. Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly drank each other's blood and are now engaged. And, I saw this. They cover it on page 6 a lot. I just don't care. Like, I don't care about Machine Gun Kelly. I don't care about Megan Fox. But now that they're drinking each other's blood, there's her engagement ring. There's an emerald and a diamond, and it has some sort of symbolism. Maybe they'll show her. She's got man hands. Here he is. There they are. He's wearing some sort of Freemasonic Beelzebub striped shirt. And he's proposing her under a tree on Instagram. She's putting her hands over her face. And she's getting down on her knees with him. It's a wonderful moment there. And there's the ring. Like, I don't really know very much about them. I remember her saying that she had man hands. She had man thumbs or something like this. As far as Machine Gun Kelly goes, he's like a crappy rapper. He had that rap beef with Eminem, and he called himself the Rap Devil in that. He held up the devil's horns and put them on his forehead. Remember, there was that. And then Eminem responded. These things usually are staged and whatever. And people are saying that Machine Gun Kelly won that thing. But after that, Machine Gun Kelly started to cover heavy metal tunes. Like on YouTube, they were promoting his videos in the trending section, and he became a heavy metal singer. So he went from being a rapper to heavy metal singer, and then he started palling around with Pete Davidson and started to sell his own nail polish, right? And if there's a rap battle and one guy continues to rap and the other guy changes genres from rap to heavy metal and then sells his own line of nail polish, he's the guy who lost. Regardless of how fake it is, like, or how staged. Like, he isn't even rapping anymore. And now he's with Megan Fox. I've kind of reached this place to do with politics and everything I call the show. Certainly Hollywood and the celebrity culture more than anything else, but the part of the sports, for example, that isn't the game itself, but the drama and the storylines, just all the things we see in the show. And I don't know how to phrase it. It isn't just like caring less. Like, it's like I care less and less about it. I mean, it's not really a good way to describe it, ambivalence, but like, I make fun of it and I do it here. And, I enjoy the jokes and whatever, the dumminess and, the failure, because because I dig those things, but I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but it's just like a blur. Like, it's all just a blur right now. It's, it's like we're speeding into the apocalypse and our train just keeps on going faster and faster. And this stuff is just flying by us, right? I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's like, almost being completely disconnected from the narrative. Like the things I do, I'm not doing any farming really for the most part. I feed the cows hay and collect the eggs. And so there's like that real life, the in real life stuff and, interacting with my family, my wife, particularly, our real life world. And then everything that's on the computer and the television, it just seems to be surreal and almost like being in some sort of a dream. You're just watching it and like nothing ever happens. Like, it's inconsequential to our lives. We're watching the destruction of our system, and certain things might come out from the show. Like if you have some mandatory thing at work, you see it on the show first. If you get COVID, right, you're watching it on the show and then you get it and you're like, oh, I got it, right? So then it infiltrates into your real life. If you go to the grocery store and there's no meat and eggs, right, like I just covered this. If you go to your own personal grocery store and there's, shortages, and so the things that come from the show and end up affecting you in real life, sure, right? Those things become real. But otherwise, it's just so not real, Like, until it affects you or affects me personally, like, it's not real. Like, it's just, okay. I mean, yeah, I see that there's things going on out in other places in the world with other people, but it might as well just be a fictional show you're watching, because in many ways it is. And then the whole thing, like I talked about Maya and how all reality is an illusion. And like, I kind of feel that more than ever. I'm just like, whatever. Like, it doesn't register. Like, I don't have much of an emotional reaction to things anymore. I don't really care about the outcome. I mean, in terms of making videos and in terms of, my coverage of it, the more funny stuff, the more screw ups, the more gaffes, the more hilarious stuff. Yeah, it makes my job easier. And then ways that I can show everybody that this illusion, this programming we've received, this indoctrination, that our material life and fame and fortune are, the goal of life, when we can clearly see, I mean, right now more than ever, it's not. These people are miserable, they're lost, they're confused, they're disconnected, they're lonely, entitled, I mean, just all the bad things. And it's because they're disconnected from God and their family and what's natural and their soul's path and their true purpose. And that, spirituality and connecting to God and having a relationship with God is, all there is. Really, that's all that's important. And it's becoming more and more important now because, people are just over it. It's like the system's just played out. It's jumped the shark. I mean, it's been that way for a while. Like, I've said these same things 3 years ago, and it's even truer now, right? Like I said, whatever president got elected in 2020, they were going to be in charge of the America's going out of business sale. And by the end of this term, 2024, things are going to be a lot different than they are now in terms of our own personal lives, right? Not just what we see on the show. Because if what you see on the show doesn't affect you, then it's not real. But when it like moves, it's like a cartoon, that stupid like Space Jam where Michael Jordan and LeBron James went from being a real person into the cartoon world, right? It's like something, I used to call this a cartoon universe. Like, I used to talk about this a lot. I called it a cartoon world. Remember? This was from way back, maybe 3-4 years ago. Because maybe 10 years ago, I was watching something on Warner Brothers, and I really didn't love cartoons when I was a kid. Like, I watched them, and I was like, these are stupid. Like, I just, I didn't really get into them, right? Because, that's all there was. Like, there was just stupid programming, stupid TV shows, dumbed down TV shows for kids. I mean, the stuff for kids is even stupider, and not just because it's for younger people, but because, like, you can make quality shows for kids with quality acting and quality messaging, but the stuff for kids is even worse. But anyways, this guy from Warner Brothers was talking about how when they made a cartoon world, a cartoon universe, they would have to have rules because it was all abstract, right? Anything that they could draw could be real, right? So there was no laws of gravity. There was no, everybody could fly, right? Everybody could do whatever they want. There'd be no death, right? I mean, think about the stuff you watched in cartoons. It was all like, these things that would happen to, like, Wile E. Coyote would get a mountain dropped on him and he would survive, right? Because there are no rules. Like, anything can go. And so they had to establish rules. Like, every time the Wile E. Coyote tried to get the Roadrunner, he'd fail, right? Every time he bought something from Acme, it would backfire. Like, it's just these rules that they would have just to keep, some sanity, because it was too abstract, right? They had to have some guiding principles of things that existed, implemented rules in a place that was, if you remember from the Roger Rabbit movie, where there was this element of real life merging with cartoon world, right? And they called it Toontown. And in Toontown, anything went. Like, there was just no, there was no physical laws, no laws of physics. And it's gotten very like Toontown now here, right? There's just no laws anymore. People just make stuff up on the news, and, everyone's just completely bullshitting all the time, right? It's all just an abstract joke, right? There's no, it's a cartoon world now. It's funny, but I care less and less about it. Like, even if in a show you root for certain characters, you're watching something, a movie or, a TV series or something, and you root for an outcome and you want to have a satisfied outcome, a, happy ending, or you want to see the bad guy get punished or the good guy, whatever it is, right? But now in this show, the show of the beast, like, it's hard to care. Like, it's just, complete ambivalence. Anyways, only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting for the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.